Now we're going to see some ways where we can quickly insert charts and macros into our Excel workbooks. We're going to talk about inserting charts, opening the Visual Basic Editor, and opening macros that we've already created. So there's two ways to insert charts on a worksheet. There's Alt F1 if you want to insert it on the current worksheet, and then there's F11 if you want to insert the chart on a new worksheet. If you want to work on macros and see the nuts and bolts behind the macro, you press Alt F11 and you can open a macro dialog box to see any of the macros you've worked on in a list by pressing Alt F8. So let's check these out. So in this lesson we're going to show you how to insert charts a couple ways and how to open your macro and open the Visual Basic Editor to edit your macros. It's not going to dive too deep because it's not a macro class, but we're going to show you some quick tips that'll help you. If you already know how to use macros, it'll help you to use them faster. Let's jump into our demo section. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is how to insert a chart into the current worksheet, and that is by hitting the Alt and the F1 key. You notice when I said we hit the keys, we actually hit them at the same time. Most of the times when you're using the Alt key, it's to go through menus and you hit them sequentially. This time you use it more like the Control key where you hit it at the same time as your command function. So we brought up our chart and we can edit it. The quickest way is by clicking on your chart elements, chart styles with the mouse. Shortcuts I've seen on these, they just take too long. So this is really the way I would edit it, is just by point and clicking. So I'm all about teaching you the fastest and most effective way to do it. So that's it. You can also right click on the chart and it can pull up all of these options here. So there's a lot you can do there. Anyway, if you want to add it to a new worksheet instead, press the F11 key. And you see right here, we just created a brand new chart in a tab. And you can do the exact same thing. So we got the format chart area open here. You got more stuff to work with. You can also go back to do the chart elements like you did before. So that's how you open it in a new worksheet. Now let's talk about those macros. So even if you don't plan on using macros, it's good to be able to open up and see them if somebody sends you a report that has macros built into it. The first thing that you want to do is open your Visual Basic Editor if you want to see the macros that are in the worksheet. So to do that, you press Alt F11. If you want to go through these tabs and see what you can do in here, you press the Alt key, because you notice there was nothing highlighted here, and if I would press tab around, it wouldn't do that by default. So you already press the Alt key and then you can have the menu opened. Then you can use the arrow keys to move through the charts, and you can see you can start a new procedure, user form, module. I press the escape key to get it out of that menu, and then you basically press the down key to open it. You don't press the shift key and you don't press any other buttons to open these. And you can see right here, there's a bunch more shortcuts. So get used to using those shortcuts. They can really help you. And I'm going to go through some of them right now that are the most useful. So close this back up and pretend we just opened this up and we want to jump into our code. The quick way to do that is press the F7 key. As soon as you open this up, hit F7 and your code is ready to play with. So that's the F7 key, probably the most important. And then if you want to run this code, so this code trims spaces. You select a range and it trims the spaces. So if you want to effectively hit this this formatting macro right here, you could press this button right here, and you see how at the end it says F5? That's the F5 key. So you can hover over any of these and see what the shortcut is for each one of them. So that's the F5 key. So let's just give it a shot. Okay, so it doesn't tell you anything, but it definitely just ran. That's a really good one. So F5 for running the code. Let's say you want to do some debugging. What you would do there is press the F8 key to do a step through. So now you got your breakpoint set on this one right here, and you can run just this one line and you can see if it worked or not. And you also want to open your immediate window to get some notes on your debugging. So to open the immediate window, press Control G, and that's going to show you this. Like as you run each line, it's going to give you notes. So that's a really good thing to know about. If you want to get some quick info on one of your elements, press Control Space. So that will give you your drop down box and show you like what you can use based on what you have highlighted. Another thing that's interesting, let's say we have a bad piece of code right here, and this, don't get confused with this one, but this is bad. Okay, so if you press Control Y, it deletes the line. So that's actually different from Excel, because in Excel, if you remember, Control Y was the redo button. So, because Control Z is undo and then Control Y is redo, but not here, it actually deletes a line of code. To open your parameter window, you're going to press Control Y and it'll show you the various parameters that you can use. And then I also want to tell you how to pull up IntelliSense, which is pretty useful if you want to see what variables you can put somewhere, or if you want to finish a line of your code. You just wrote a couple letters and you want it to fill in the rest of it for you, like your variable names. I just typed in the work right there. Let's see what happens if I press IntelliSense. Do you want to finish it with workbooks? Do you mean worksheet functions? So that's pretty helpful. Those are some helpful macro shortcuts. To get out of this, we're going to press Alt F11. Okay, so we're going to get out of here, and we know there's a macro in this workbook. Alright, to open the macros that we have, we're going to press Alt F8. We have one macro in here, and these are the options we have. We can look at macros that are in all of our open workbooks, this workbook. We got other options. Then we can run the macro, we can step into it line by line, section by section. We can edit the macro from here, we can completely delete it, and there's even more options. To sum it up, to open your macros and run it quickly from inside Excel, you want to press Alt F8. And to edit it, that's another way to jump into it, but pressing Alt 11 is a lot faster. And then we can press Alt 11 to get out of here too. So hopefully after watching this, you can work with these functions a lot faster.